Hi everyone, this is Marie Blue Angel back with another part of Obscura. Um, I'm really excited to see this last route for Obscura Chapter 1, The Descent. And I have us loaded into where we are in a restaurant, bar, wherever we are. And this is where we previously met Francesco. But this is also where we can also meet the last love interest. So, I am. I've loaded us. I put us here because I don't really think there's a difference if you explore versus enjoy the music. But I'm curious because last time I enjoyed the music and that was nice, but it really didn't. I feel affect anything in terms of the route with Francisco and all that, and like determining the ending I got with him. So this time I will explore and then choose the other option that will lead me away from Francisco to the last love interest. So yes, let's get started. Explore. The music is lovely, but my curiosity is practically tugging at my coat to keep looking. I need to know what this event is for. That's true, that's good. I walk deeper into the space. Through an open doorway is a large parlor set up with small round tables and an abundance of chairs. I wonder how many people are doing business here. I doubt barging into most of these hushed conversations would endear me to these people, but there's a large crowd at the back of the room. They're even standing on a section of the room a little higher up than the rest. That screams, "Notice me." There's the laughter. The crowd bursts into loud, barking laughter. Whoever is at the center of that conversation is probably quite entertaining. And then on the other side of the room is a man who immediately draws the eye. He's dressed brightly in contrast to all the skulking shadows around him, myself included. Perhaps his posture's a little stiff, but I certainly was stiff as a new arrival to the marketplace. Unlike me, though, is all the evidence of wealth on him. The shining white clothes, the gold trim, and the new shimmering mask. Any problem here can be solved with enough money. Maybe he's got solutions. And if he's new, I might be able to play my cards right. I step a little deeper into the parlor to let someone else in. No need to block the doorway. Bye, Francesco. I have already chosen you before, and I love your route, and I'm very excited to continue your route in the following chapters, in the subsequent chapters. But today is Approach the Laughing Crowd Day. Bye, Francesco. I climb the 3 stairs to the higher platform and sneak around the circle of people. Someone's going to be leading the conversation, and I want to see who it is. Another peal of laughter erupts from the brightly dressed group. I think I can see the person in the middle of this conversation, beaming and conducting the hangers-on, like a choir. Charming stranger. And that's not even the worst of it. No, the worst part was the singing. The laughter dies down. Everyone is waiting for the next punchline. I was sitting there, trying not to lose all my hearing in one night, and I realized exactly what it sounded like. He sang like an angel, choking on, "Oleander, we've got news." Damn, no punchline. I mean, I can guess what that punchline is, but you know. A masked attendant pushes into the circle and towards the conductor of this merry group. "Hello, charming stranger, though. I love your character design. Your timing is impeccable, as always." The attendant either doesn't notice or chooses to ignore his snippy tone. "From the Seven Sisters estate." The attendant hands over a letter. The man, Oleander, steps back a little to read it. One of the merrymakers around me starts to grouse. It's always when he's about to get to the best part. I swear, Ollie's curse. Careful, he doesn't like that. Doesn't like what? Complaining? That's rich. The nicknames. It's Oleander or nothing. Before the first stranger can say something, I cut it. Oleander is his name. Is he the host of this little fete? The two look at me, and the pause hangs on a little longer than I want. Why are you here if you don't even know who Oleander is? Well, the doors were open, and the music is good. I'm trying to read their body language, figure out exactly what kind of faux pas I've made, if I've even made one. So you just came in? If it was meant to be a closed party, I'm certain someone rich enough to host this has the money to spare for a sign. Do not enter. Very private event. I'm bracing for some flavor of insult. I'm not poorly dressed by any means, but I stand out here through my sheer lack of flamboyance, when an arm goes around my shoulder. Oh, the sign! I forgot to put up the sign, although you're not quite right. My sign is supposed to say, "No downers allowed." Okay, well. Oleander leans in, and I get a very close look at his mask. I can also smell some subtle perfume off him, something warm and spicy. Hello, Oleander. I'd say you don't look like a downer, but you could be the High Liege of the White Stag House, and I wouldn't be the wiser. What a coincidence. Oh, are you the High Liege? I'm not the High Liege of anything, as far as you know, but that's not very far. That gets a laugh out of him. He takes his arm off me and pulls back enough to offer me his hand. I'm Oleander. It's my food and music you've been enjoying. You're welcome. I can hear the smile in his voice. I take his hand and give it a firm shake. Thanks for not locking me out. I've enjoyed eating your food. He looks at me a little longer, waiting for something. When he doesn't seem to get it, he turns to the others in the circle. And this is why I keep the doors open. Who knows what kind of fun we'll wander in. Okay, so you're partier. Okay. There's appreciative nods. Like the acrobats last time. Exactly. You don't get to see that every day. Well, you don't get to see them every day, poor bastard. He nods back at his conversation partner, and the rest of the group breaks out into chuckles. Meanwhile, you're just swimming in acrobats. Drowning in them. Absolutely soaked with acrobats. I tried to beat them off, but I'd suspect they'd like that. He sounds so smug, even though it's completely ridiculous. It's an absurd game he's playing that everyone here is enjoying. Then again, I can't say I dislike it either. But, and this is something I never say, leaving aside the acrobats for the moment. More laughter. How is the stone shoving business these days? Oh, you know how it is. Digging out tunnels, drilling in supports. No excitement to be found? Not as such. No pits opening under the workers nowadays. Don't hold out on me, mate. Oleander's arm goes around the woman's shoulders. I bet you've dug up plenty of dirt worth sharing. You wouldn't like the dirt I'm getting. Too normal. Well, that's just boring. I need some entertainment. If you're not going to amuse me, what's the point of you? Should I guess I should speak? I think her purpose is rather obvious. Everyone's attention is pulled my way, but I'm focusing on Oleander. My goal, as silly as it feels, is to provide the amusement he's clearly seeking. Exactly. Don't you need a crowd of admirers to delight in in addition to your sources of amusement? There's a few little gasps, sounds of a well-targeted jab, and not fear, thankfully. Shh, she's right, Oleander. I know a showman when I see one. What's the word for someone leading the show? Surrounded by acrobats. He's pulled away from the woman he was teasing and leaning a little towards me. A ringmaster? Oh, that's the one. I was going to say clown. Damn, Blue! Get him! A smattering of laughter. I don't know if I've crossed the line, or if no one else is certain they're allowed to laugh at my jokes. I'm smiling as hard as I can, hoping he can hear that I'm only saying this for fun. You'd make fun. You'd make fun of your own dear host, the one who fed you and played music for you. His tone is over-exaggerated drama. This is still a game for him. Thank goodness. I know an attention seeker when I see one. Takes one to know one. I know just your type. You see my parties and start swooning, and before you know it, you're doing everything possible to get my attention. And it worked, didn't it? A few of the surrounding crowd laughed properly. Only because you set out some irresistible bait, Minx. I can't speak, but that's fine. But yes, it's worked out, Blue. His voice drops a little, getting gravelly at the word minx. Here, I'll go back and do it. Only because you've set out some irresistible bait, minx. I think I'm at a disadvantage. You know who I am, and as far as I know, you are a wayward liege of the White Stag House. That's not very far at all. No, it's not. Maybe I want to preserve the mystery. I might be dreadfully boring once you know who I am. And then, where will I be? Well then. He turns to the others. Seems I have an admirer. Admirer might be a bit strong of a word. I do admire your chef and their work. If you wanted to know the chef, you would go to the kitchen. No. You want me. Unfortunately, so does everyone else. Damn, okay. He gestures broadly, sweeping an arm to indicate the whole room. There's a smattering of chuckles. And I want wine. I can get you some. No, I think I'd rather get it myself. Ta-ta for now. He walks away, going around the group and passing behind me. Then I feel a hand on my shoulder, then an arm along the top of my back, then a chin on my shoulder. You want my attention? You've got it, Minx. Ask the nice lady with the sword for vindication, and you'll see what that gets you. Then he's gone before I can answer. Okay. That was strange. The crowd lingers, but some of the people are dispersing. Well, I've answered my question. Oleander's quite the entertaining person. Which leaves a slightly more important question. Do I even want his attention? Someone with that much wealth and power could access Lunar Ichor. He could be my way forward. But someone with that much wealth and power could also do whatever he wanted to me, with no consequences. Fair to think. My stomach churns. My curiosity is pulling me one way, and my caution another. No, I miss you, Francesco, but I can't find you here. Although I'll save and see what that means if it just puts me on your route. I didn't know I would have a chance to get back to you if I'd go, look for you after this brief encounter with Oleander. No one believed I would survive a day down here. And I did. I'll survive Oleander too. I find the woman with the sword easily enough. In a packed hall, she is still given plenty of space. Oops. I'm looking for vindication. You've come to the right place. She opens a door for me, stepping back just enough to let me slip inside. She closes the door behind her. There's a lantern on the table, burning as dimly as it's possible to be without going out completely. The chairs look plush, something I can confirm when I take a seat. It takes some time for Oleander to show up, and in the little room barely bigger than a closet, and with nothing to pass the time, I can't tell how long I've been here. I practically jump in my seat when the door swings open. Well, you're here. Excellent. Apologies for the wait. I'm a man in high demand these days. Took a while to shake off my admirers. I suppose I should thank you for your time. You're welcome. No, I only supposed I should thank you. I hadn't yet. But in supposing it out loud, you made your intentions clear to me, and thus you're very welcome. He slides into the seat opposite mine, setting a wine glass down in front of himself. Wine? No more for me, thanks. I've got plenty. Still playing games? Sure. Now, the first order of business. What's your name? If I tell you now, you'll have no reason to stay. Nonsense. You and I both know you have my attention. I'll hear you out, but I don't make deals with people hiding their names. Even though I could very well invent a name on the spot? Just for you? Just for me. I'm touched you do such a thing. He pauses for a second, but starts talking again before I can get a word out. It's the principle of the thing, you see. Someone once called themselves No One, and I didn't spot the problems in time. They betrayed your trust, and then you were forced to say, no one wronged me. Close enough. Give me a false name for that false face of yours. He holds out his hand. I'm Blue. I take his hand and shake it once firmly, then I tuck my hand back under my cloak. No need to give him more body language to read. A pleasure to meet you. Most people aren't able to play these little games of mine at my level. Anyone who can is worth knowing. You caught my eye from across the room. A little flattery can't hurt. Oh, you mean you saw me and decided that you had to know more about a man of such obvious wealth and charm? Caught my eye might be a misstatement. I heard laughter and had to know the reason. I wasn't suspecting a clown, but in hindsight, that was the obvious answer. Don't bruise my ego too badly now. I need that. This banter is so good. Oh my gosh, I'm intrigued. Well, now you know who I am, or at least the important things. What do you want? It's the first thing from his mouth that doesn't sound like part of his game. This is the test, then. Lunar Ichor. I can almost hear him testing the odds in his head, deciding whether or not to believe me. Many people want Lunar Ichor. Of course they do, but I need it. That is already more information than I want to give, and it seems like Oleander can tell. Did I pass the test? Well, that sounds terribly serious. He's saying it with a smile so big I can hear it. Let me guess, Blue. You've been around and no one's selling the stuff. Worse than that, you're never going to be able to afford what it costs anyways. Then you find a fancy party with a host who's obviously got coin, and you think to yourself that he might be your ticket to rare and valuable objects. I do have to wonder what your plan for wringing Ichor out of me would be. I'll do work. Any kind of work. Any kind of work? Don't make promises you don't intend to keep. The threat is obvious, but I've already made my choice. Anything, as long as I'm alive at the end. I don't care. Oleander sucks in a breath through his teeth. Don't say that now. Sometimes being alive is the worst thing that can happen to you. I stand by what I said. There's another pause. I let it hang there. I'm not about to change what I've said, no matter what Oleander suggests. Well then, Blue, I have some interesting news for you. I take it you don't know my career. Either you've earned your wealth or were born into it. I earned it, as much as you might doubt me. I call myself a lot of things depending on who is listening, but I think the most apt term for someone like me is smuggler. Oh, you're a smuggler? I don't go between the topside and marketplaces much anymore, but there isn't much that enters or leaves the mountain without me knowing. Then you would. I am probably your best hope for finding Lunar Ichor here, and it just so happens that I am currently looking for a new assistant. Are you? Hire me? Hire me, hire me. Hire me. Then hire me. It's out of my mouth before I can stop myself. Then you're hired. Is it's that easy? Oh, there's one more thing. Here's the catch. All of my Okay, that's fine. All of my assistants go by Virgil while on the job. You'll have to agree to that. Oh, is that all? I know it's just one more name to put on the pile. You're clearly someone who uses a fake name with everyone. But I hope you can endure it. I think I can tolerate it for now. Good. He reaches out to me once again, so I respond with yet another handshake. Before I can pull my hand away, however, he grips it a bit more firmly. I look forward to seeing how much fun we can have together. Then he lets go of my hand. There's a second of silence, but Oleander is quick to fill it with the time and place to meet up tomorrow, as well as some mundane ideas about the work. If he's being honest about everything, the pay will even be decent. The clock tower rings twice. I have no remaining frame of reference to know if it's indicating the middle of the night, the early afternoon, or some mysterious third alternative. What I do know is that I am in the right place at the right time. 2 o'clock at the Candle Park. Virgil, or Vigil. Is it Virgil? I read it Virgil. Vigil. Sorry. Vigil. Pleased to see you here. You say that like you're surprised to see me. I thought you might just take my secrets and run. I have learned a great deal about Oleander's business. Above ground, I would call him a merchant. He sells goods from the underground and purchases goods from above ground. He connects buyers and sellers. It's the kind of goods he's trading that mark him as unusual. No live humans, thankfully, but I saw a box of teeth that looked nauseatingly familiar among the goods he was sending out. Then there were the magical goods, and the allegedly magical goods. I guess this means you've been ensnared by my good looks and winning personality. Lol. There's no way I've learned all your secrets yet. Oh, is that all you want from me? Well, you're a little... should I play into his ego? I don't know. Well, you're a little charming. Why would I be here? Honestly, the money's... Your money's pretty good, too. Sorry, sometimes I just, stop in the middle of, thinking out choices. But here's my choice. Oh, so mercenary of you. Aren't you even a little glad to be seeing me again? You're so dramatic. Honestly, yes. When I woke up today, I was looking forward to seeing him again. Even if he's danger. I'm certain he is. He's at least an entertaining one. But from our first meeting, I've known enough about him to know that saying that would make him intolerably smug. Very true. Fishing for compliments already. Do you need my approval that badly? He drops his voice, both in pitch and in volume. There's a difference between need and want, Blue. One I would be glad to demonstrate. The tone of his voice is so outrageously vulgar that it stops my thoughts dead for a moment. Sir. Later, that is. We have work to do. Okay. He sweeps his jacket around and turns into the motion, making his way to a sweetly decorated tea shop. I keep in step, just slightly behind him. I love this tea shop! The first word that comes to mind when I step inside is frou-frou. The decor isn't garish, but it is very bright and intricate. Oh my gosh, I love the tea shop. I love the flowers. It's so pretty. The lamps are blazing brightly compared to anywhere I've been. The walls are practically lined with paper and fabric flowers, bursting forth in fragrant, frothy bouquets. Someone has lit incense or sprayed perfume in the air. Forgive me for saying so, but this doesn't look like your kind of place. When Oleander told me we would be going to a tea shop, I imagined a moody, smoke-filled back room. Perhaps that's a failure of my own imagination. Oh no. This is definitely not my kind of place. Or not. We are here because our next potential client. We navigate the tightly packed tables and chairs and stop at one table with a man sitting at it. The man is plain, even scruffy. He is slouching so deeply and crossed, his arms so tightly, it's hard to tell if he's extraordinarily short or trying to look small. It's Griff! Griff from Kier's Root. Pleasure to see you again, Griff. Oleander takes a seat. I follow suite. Why the sugar-dusted fuck are we meeting here? Because I knew you'd say something excellent, like sugar-dusted fuck about it. Are you just amused when people say things like that you expect, Oleander? Oleander sounds entirely too pleased with himself. And who is this? He jerks his chin in my direction. This is Vigil. Rude. Can I kick him under the table? It's not an easy angle, but I'm able to give Oleander a swift kick to the shin. He hardly flinches. I wasn't aiming to hurt him, to be fair, but does glance over at me. Message sent. Another one? What happened to the last one? He found himself a more satisfying career elsewhere. Good for him. This new Vigil is quite good, though. Picks things up quickly. She's right here, too, and very capable of speaking for herself. The last Vigil never talked. Glad you got a bit more guts. Maybe he just couldn't get a word in edgewise with this man as boss. Roast him. Griff chuckles. It's not a contest, but I do feel like I'm winning. A member of the waitstaff comes by, asking for our orders. Oleander orders tea. Griff orders what sounds like a very expensive cake. Do I want tea? I'm not ordering nothing. We're on a business call, but should I try sweets? I want sweets. I asked the waitstaff for a recommendation for something light. They advised me to order a slice of cake that should be lighter than air and a cup of tea to go alongside it, so I do. If you're quite finished slandering me, I do have a business proposition for you. When don't you? Oleander brushes right past that comment. I've recently received some information from a very trusted source about a witch ring that is currently available. Fuck me, a witch ring? Actually. So I've been led to believe. It's currently in the hands of our beloved auctioneer. No fucking way. Not the auction, the auctioneer. She's currently living in an apartment above the Pearl Choker. I've been to that apartment once. It's well protected, but it's certainly not at the same level as the auction house. It's not watertight or mouse-proof. Okay, I'm listening. I thought you might. Vigil, if you would. Oleander holds out a hand. I dig through my pocket and hand over an egg-shaped gold capsule. I paid a very pretty penny for this information, so I expect you not to wreck what has been a very fruitful relationship. You don't need to put on the scary mask for this, man. You know I'm not about to screw you over. If you didn't kill me, Kier would. Oleander hands over the capsule. Griff cracks it open and lets the 2 golden halves fall to the table. He unfolds the papers that were packed inside the egg and starts reading, haunching himself over the pages to protect them from prying eyes. I sweep the 2 egg halves across the table towards me and pocket them again just as our orders arrive. Without looking, Griff begins devouring his cake as he keeps reading. Why put the papers in an egg if I'm just going to be giving him the papers and keeping the egg? A mystery for another time. What do you think? I think you've got to stop rushing me. Not all of us read as fast as you. You're already getting into the detailed pages. What do you think about the broad strokes? I think. Griff closes his fist around the papers, turning them into a crumpled tube. That I gotta talk to Kier about this. It's a good job. We could do it if we were not at full capacity. We could do it. We could do it if we were at full capacity. And you're not. And Gups got hurt during a freelance gig. Poor Gups. I know that tone of voice. Oleander does not know who or what a gups is, but he needs to sound sympathetic and keep the conversation going. Well, you know where to send word if you take the job or drop it. I'll be down in your neighborhood with supplies soon enough. Looking forward to it. In the meantime, send Kier my love. Griff's tone is one of irritation. Don't make me say that. Kier hates hearing that. Kier would. Oleander! He just likes saying things to annoy people, I think. Exactly why I'm saying it. You're the worst. I am a delight that you can never get rid of. Your money is a delight, that's for sure. Charming as ever, Griff. Griff stands up and leaves without so much as a farewell. Oleander and I are left sitting at the table with Griff's empty plate. So, that was Griff. He's a funny one, isn't he? That's one way to say it. I start in on my cake. Oleander pours himself a cup of tea. And who's Kier? An old friend. I think that's what he'd say. Well, that's something to look into later. And you sent him your love because... You heard, Griff. Kier will find it deeply annoying. And I think that's amusing. For someone so enamored with their own wit and charm, you sure are dedicated to being an absolute pest about it. The word for me you're looking for is debonair. The word I'm looking for is gadfly. You know, I've heard people call me that before. But it sounds so much more interesting coming from you. But enough about me. That's a rare sentence. I have a very nice pot of tea that needs to be drunk. He unlatches his mask with a slow deliberateness that makes it look like he's putting on a show. Then he raises his teacup and takes a slow sip. He lets out a satisfied moan and chuckles. Excellent stuff. I suppose a shop as dedicated to the botanical arts as this one would have some skill at making tea. I wonder if they'd tell me their source. It's idle wondering, but it makes me smirk a little. Oleander seemed to get drawn back into work without much prompting. And how is your cake, Blue? Delicious, thank you for asking. And are you going to share? It sounds like you want me to share. Yes, but that isn't what I asked. Now is it? Why? You didn't order cake. I ordered cake. Blue ordered cake. And I want Blue to eat all of the cake. I'm going to say here because I don't think this is terribly, you know, a big choice. Do I want to share? But I want cake. Why can't you order cake? How much cake are you going to take, sir? Because if it's a bite, then sure. I'll say yes. Are you going to share? Well, that depends on what course of action you take. Huh. You're never not a businessman, are you? Oh, trade doesn't occupy my whole life, but I do find life to be better when a mutually pleasurable option is available. The hint of flirtation is getting under my skin. Without another word, I take a bit of my cake, onto my fork and hold it out for him. He leans in, slowly and deliberately. I can't see his eyes exactly, but I can't shake the feeling he's staring directly at me as he closes his mouth around the bit of cake. Then he pulls back, and I see the smirk this time as he says, "Exquisite." Well, I'm keenly aware that I'm being teased. Damn this man. He lifts his own teacup and holds it out for me. Your turn. Sure, take a fucking drink. I have to put my hands around Oleander's to guide the cup to my mouth. The tea is ginger hot and sharply bitter. It's a complex flavor, and I let it sit on my tongue for a while. Good, isn't it? It's a powerful taste. When we're done eating, we pay and leave the little tea house. Oleander promises to forward a list of things I will need to do the next few days. Chores, from the sound of it. A letter arrived for you. Bruna sets down my bowl of porridge as well as a letter and leaves. The letter itself has been scented with some kind of perfume, thick enough to be able to smell through my mask. Blue. A client of mine is hosting an impromptu little party, and I have been told that I may bring whoever is the current vigil along. I suppose I wasn't doing anything else today. Searching the stalls and trying to pull rumors from shopkeepers is important work, but sometimes I long for a break from it. I'm starting to appreciate Oleander's intrusions into my otherwise monotonous schedule. Here's your checklist to accomplish before the clock strikes 7 tonight. The rest of the letter is a list of locations and what I am to do at each, where we'll be meeting tonight. Clothing rental, a wine shop, and some place called Satine, where I am supposed to pick something nice. The makings of a very excellent party from the sounds of it. It makes my very ordinary porridge feel rather dull in comparison. Still, I'm not going to let my breakfast go to waste. Checking Oleander's directions against my own mental map, the shops are laid out so there's no efficient way to visit them all. I am free to take them in any order I please. Where do I want to go first? Clothing rental. The shop I reach when I follow the written directions is a little hole-in-the-wall place. Literally, the shop door sits in what is otherwise the cavern's bare rock face. Entering, I met with a dizzying array of colors, formal wear of every kind, being shown on racks on the walls. Someone is also playing a mandolin quite badly. Oleander's letter was quite vague on what I'm supposed to do here, though the implication is obvious. Hello? The mandolin playing stops, and a head pops out from between two of the clothing racks. Oh shit, sorry, hello. They stumbled out from between the racks. My best guess is that they're a teenager who has not gotten used to their growth spurt yet, based on their clumsiness and gangly height. Welcome to the dress cave. Shit, sorry, the silk web. Without thinking, I raise my hand to hide my face, obscuring a smile that they wouldn't be able to see regardless. The gesture honestly just makes what I'm thinking even more obvious. I was told by my employer that I should come here to rent some formal wear for a party this evening. Your employer? I'm visual, if that helps. There's a beat of silence, and then... Oh! Now I know what the boss meant. Perfect, this is easy. Mr. Absinthe has a tab with us. So, Oleander's Absinthe, and this was a name we heard earlier when playing Kier's route. Okay, this is all connecting. So you just pick out what you want, and he'll pay for it later. We don't really have time to tailor it for tonight, but we have a lot of clothes, so it should be easy to find something that'll fit close enough. So I'm not picking up something for him. I'm getting something for myself. Is this really necessary? I'm not taking off my cloak for the party, so any beautiful clothes would be wasted on me. The shopkeeper, or maybe they're an assistant, shuffles nervously. If you don't mind me saying, you should probably get something nice to wear. I'm certain you mean well, but you do have a good reason to want me, or my employer, spending here. Oh, it's not that. It's not just money. It's just, since you're not pinning your cloak closed, I can see bits of what you're wearing underneath when you move. They look like good, sturdy clothes, but Oleander wants me to be wearing something frivolous, because that's the son he has money to spend on clothes just for making his assistant look pretty. I'm part of the show now, so I should dress the part. Exactly. And the money doesn't hurt. Yeah. Very well, I'm convinced. How does one find things in this dress cave? If you like, you can tell me what style you like and your approximate measurements, and I'll pick out some pieces from the back. There's a lot in the back. All right. I prefer more feminine clothes. Okay, I'll pull out a few styles for you. The shopkeeper vanishes into the back of the shop, presumably a cavern claimed by the shop to store inventory. They came back with a sampling of clothes, suit jackets with trousers or skirts, dresses in every style I can imagine, even a delicate bodysuit that feels a little too daring. Then again, I will be wearing a cloak the whole time. Are you sure? I feel like we might not be wearing a cloak the whole time. We whittled down the options, with the shopkeeper occasionally dropping back into the cave to find something closer to my size. In the end, I'm left with two options that suit my taste, the occasion, and fit well enough. An elegant black gown and a bright blood red skirt that pairs with a red bejeweled wrap around my chest. Ooh, the red sounds fun. Both are finer than anything I have ever worn in my life. Either of them would work, I think. A fancy outfit is meant to send a message, isn't it? So the last thing to choose is what message I want to send. Even with a cloak on, the red will catch people's eyes. The black under the cloak can trick people's eyes instead, if the lighting's right. It'll look like you're a void. And it would match your mask. Catching the eye or creating mystery. What do I want? What does Oleander want? Oh, I know what Oleander wants. Take the red. The red one. If Oleander's dressing flamboyantly, it's to show off his wealth and to catch eyes. I can assume that as Vigil, he wants me to do the same. And if I can catch some eyes and start some conversations, well, that suits me fine. Thanks for your help. I don't think I could have braved the dress cape alone. Everything about the shopkeeper's hunched posture and looking deliberately to the side screams embarrassment. Glad I could help. Yay, thank you. I am out of the shop soon enough with my rented clothes wrapped up in a parcel. It feels criminal to leave the shop without paying, but I will have to return my find in one piece. It isn't mine to spoil. Well, that's a chore accomplished. What next? The wine shop? I'm just going in order. The wine shop doesn't have a name that I can see, and when I go inside, there's little more than a room to stand in. This is not a normal wine shop. I shouldn't be surprised given the instructions Oleander wrote for retrieving the wine include, be polite. They also include, don't spoil the surprise. Hello? The silence makes the hair on the back of my arm stand on end, but I refuse to be cowed by an empty room of all things. You're supposed to ring the bell at the door. I almost jump. I turn to the left and see a shopkeeper, wearing a heavily starched dress and a mask that clings tight to her face, emerge from a hidden door. Be polite. Sorry, I didn't think to look there. Are you some kind of pheasant, just strutting into any door that pleases you? What? I'm sorry? Did you just come in off the street, you stupid thing? I curl my toes tightly in my shoes. Oh, this person's very rude. Polite. I was sent here by my employer. He didn't write about a bell in his note either. Employer? Oh. Oh no, you're not one of Absinthe's Vigil things, are you? I am. Sorry to disappoint you. Have we met before? I'd remember you if that were the case. I see. Too many pheasants. I don't try to tell them apart anymore. I would be happy to get out of your way, except I don't think Oleander would be happy if I did that without picking up the wine he ordered first. Oh, he is Oleander now. It seems like he still doesn't know how to pick names. I take it my employer hasn't always called himself Oleander. No, he rather fancies himself sly and keeps changing his name, as if changing his name will hide who he is, and when he insists on always wearing that ridiculous coat. Pheasant you may be, but at least you're the sensible sort that keeps your looks plain. Polite. Thank you. Wait here, and I'll bring you your Oleander's wine. She's gone for a while, and when she returns she's carrying 2 bottles of wine. They are unlabeled, and as far as I can tell, identical. Pick your poison. Take the left one. Good. Then the shopkeeper takes both bottles and disappears again. I've given up trying to understand what is happening here. She comes back with a labeled bottle and a wine glass, with a drop of wine in the glass. Would you like a taste? No? No, thank you. Oleander's instructions told me not to spoil the surprise, and this is probably what he meant by that. I take my chosen bottle and slip it into my bag. It's not convenient by any stretch, but it'll do. I would like you to leave now. I can do that. The shopkeeper doesn't want me to linger, and I don't want to linger, so I don't. I can cross the wine shop, if that's what it was, off the list, and get on with my day. Go to Satine. Satine is impossible to miss. The sign is large and freshly painted in bright colors that stand out in the darkness. It's also busy. I step inside and the noise does not diminish even the slightest bit. Satine is huge and labyrinthine, and there must be dozens of people wandering the maze of shelves. Oleander's instructions were to pick something nice, something decorative to wear, a gift for whoever is hosting, something for Oleander. I suppose it's up to me. I square my shoulders and face the labyrinth. I can already feel the warm, stuffy air starting to gather under my cloak. I don't think I can stay here for long. For a second, I attempt to look at everything on the tall stacks of shelves, packed tight with curios. But that's a fool's errand. There is no way to take in everything in this shop. I will have to fully surrender myself to the chaos. I start walking and stop fully on a whim. There's a stack of books with beaten pages on one of the many shelves that surround me. I pick one up, thick one. I pick a thick one at random. The cover has no title, only a beautifully inked crescent surrounded by delicate swirling lines. Flipping through the pages, I am met with a dizzying array of text and illustrations. The entire book is handwritten, and it is massive. It is intimidating, but also intriguing. What kind of story could this author have dedicated so much energy to? I stop at a page with an illustration of a horned man. Glancing over the text, I see several mentions of dragons. Is this what I want? No? I mean, something nice. I mean, could be nice, but is there... I don't know, no? I carefully set the book back. Unsatisfied, I continue, turning at a crossroad of shelves. There's a small leather fold jammed between two books on a shelf. I nearly missed it completely, but, having seen it, my curiosity is piqued. Opening the leather, I met with a sight of assorted tools. A small mirror with a longish handle, long lockpicks, and a worn-down file, and even a short pair of scissors. They're not in good repair, but they're thief tools. Is this what I want? No? I don't know. Buying thief tools while working for a merchant feels like I'd be sending the wrong message. I return them to the shelf. One more try. If I fail to find anything of interest, I will just meet Oleander empty-handed. There's a line of jars of preserved animals and animal parts, but one of the jars is a little different. Looking closely, it appears to be a bottle of rodent skulls. There must be a dozen of them sitting there. Sure. I feel like I need to go back. Look, out of the three options, I think the book was probably the best option. I'm gonna go back. Only... I can't. Damn. Sure. I don't know what consequence this has here. I take my find to the crowded payment desk. When it's my turn, I have to speak quite loudly to be heard. Does the name Oleander mean anything to you? It does. They look at my find and placed on the counter. Oh, sorry, basically shopkeepers asking me if I actually want to buy the rodent skulls, but I guess I should have gone for the first book, but here we are. The shopkeeper shrugs but hands me a little tag. I take my new trinket and head to the door. I'm let out of the shop only when I show a black cloaked figure the tag. Nice cloak. Likewise. And that is the end of my little adventure at Satine. I follow Oleander's final direction to a squat apartment building. I have to climb the 2 flights of creaky stairs to find the room indicated on the letter. I knock. Oleander? The door is unlocked, darling. It takes a little maneuvering to twist the doorknob when I am carrying several parcels, but I get it done. The room I enter is heavily perfumed, with elegant lamps on every flat surface and an abundance of colorful fabric draped from the ceiling. Welcome to my parlor. That's a nice parlor. Oleander is lounging in a well-loved armchair, his head tipped back. He must only see a sliver of me through the eye holes of his mask. I didn't realize that as an assistant I would be doing your shopping. This is a shopping trip for your benefit. He stands up. Well, what kinds of treasures did you find? I hand him the wine bottle. Good job not spoiling the surprise. The shopkeeper called me a pheasant. Don't mind her. That's just her way. We parted on good terms, I think. Oh? She was happy to get rid of me, and I was happy to leave. A happy arrangement for the both of you, then. What else did you find? You went to Satine like I told you? I'm so sorry. I don't know the rodent skulls or it. Oh, I did. Good, Vigil. Good, Vigil. I roll my eyes but bring out my discovery. Look, I just wasn't sure what item. I guess a book would have been nice, but who knows? I don't know. I'm fascinated. The mind that would see this and decide it was worth having. I'll have to ask you about it more sometime. He's dropped his voice low and he's smiling. I can hear it. Is he flirting? Anyways, you haven't neglected to rent clothes, have you? I went to the dress cave. Ah, then you met poor Bobbin. He's some kind of cousin to the owner. That's the reason he works there. He's not well suited to the job. He was doing his best. He was doing his best to help me. I don't doubt that. That's rather the problem, if that's his best. I doubt he'll be in the merchant business much longer. I bring out my parcel, but don't open it. Do I get to see it? Once I'm wearing it, maybe. If you're going to keep me in suspense like this, I suspect it will be very good. If you get your hopes up too high, I'll never meet your expectations. I will set my hopes as high as I please. If you want to satisfy me, you'll simply have to work for it. With that, he starts in on priority preparations. He is going in his usual outfit. He has a brand he needs to maintain. He handles the wine while I go to a small side room to get dressed. I re-enter the parlor with my cloak wrapped tight around me. Ah, Blue. Do I finally get to see what outfit you've chosen? Show him? Show off? I mean, I guess, should I show off? I don't, I don't know. Show him. What is he asking me? I mean, if I show off, I'm showing him, aren't I? I might as well show off. I think that's probably the point of this. I spread my arms wide, lifting my cloak away from my body. I pull it back on my left side, then my right, turning my body to give him a better look. Then on impulse, I turn on the spot, letting my cloak flare up and out. Oleander claps. Bravo, Blue. Unless you keep your cloak closed at every turn, you're going to be noticed wearing something like that. Like you and your coat. Very much like me and my coat. I suppose you want to advertise your wealth and access. As your assistant, I would be advertising your wealth, wouldn't I? That goes without saying, but I wouldn't be surprised if you were approached privately tonight. Plenty of assistants and apprentices build their initial clientele while working for someone else. Worried about competition from me? Not remotely. If you think you're up to it, come and get me. At any rate, you've chosen something stunning. You'll have to chase off work offers with a stick. I wasn't planning on taking a different job. Your rate is quite good. Good. Stick with that. And as an incentive, he steps to the side and picks up a parcel off a chair. A gift. This one you can keep. I open the parcel, and out spills a length of slate gray fabric, thick and smooth. In the fabric, there is a shimmering pattern. Is it a cloak? I thought you might still wear your cloak over your very fine outfit. If you must, at least wear something worthy of the event and your own charms. Thanks. Something clatters to the floor. A heavy silver brooch has fallen out of the folds of fabric. You're not going to ask this back from me? It would hardly be a gift in that case. And I don't owe you money for this? It's a gift, Blue, not a debt. It's yours. Thank you. Anyways, it came to me at no great cost. A lovely young thing forgot it here several months back. I just found a brooch to finish the outfit. Oleander. I roll my eyes. I'm rolling my eyes. Leftovers from a previous conquest. Thanks. It's clean, and it's yours now. So stop grousing and get changed. I do, and then we are off to the party. Okay. I'm going to stop here because I've already played a lot today, and this is already a long enough video. I'm really liking this route. It's quite fun. Oleander is an interesting character. And I'm really curious, like, what's the deal here and how much progress will be had in terms of finding leads for Lunar Ichor. But it's been fun. So, I cannot complain at all, and it's, you know, really nice to, like, just see more of Obscura, of this first chapter, particularly. But yes, hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time with another part. Bye!